My concern on the IP side is I don't know that this is really protectable.
I think the right price for this business is $400,000 to $500,000.
If I believe in myself enough, then I'll buy this for this amount, which is no more than 500 grand. Maybe I let you keep equity so you get the benefit of the returns that I'm going to grow that maybe will get you to what you're asking for to retire on. But like, there's no way I'm giving you that amount right now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Acquisitions Anonymous. I am one of your hosts, Bill D'Alessandro, and this week we are with Chelsea Wood from Acquisition Lab as a guest deal reviewer, as well as Mills and a brief appearance by Heather in the beginning before her internet cuts out. The deal this week was very cool. It is an online fitness platform where they teach something called cardio drumming. So sort of think like Zumba, which is, has kind of content around fitness. They are trying to make this thing called cardio drumming a thing. They've got $150,000 of SDE. We talk about kind of different end markets we could sell it into, how we would grow it. Is it a SaaS business? Is it a content business? Kind of some interesting debates, and Chelsea's a really fun addition to the crew for this episode. Also, if you like us here on Acquisitions Anonymous, you are probably interested in learning about specific industries. We have just totally relaunched our website at acquanon.com. We now have all 300 back episodes of Acquisitions Anonymous indexed by industry and searchable. So if you are trying to buy a deal in an industry and you want to know what we think about that industry, go on our website and find your industry, and you can find all the episodes we've ever done about everything from construction to restaurants to e-commerce to B2B services. Anything you can think of, it's all indexed on our website. So go check it out. And without further ado, please enjoy this episode of Acquisitions Anonymous.
Today's episode is brought to you by Silent Quadrant. As a business owner, managing IT and cybersecurity can be overwhelming. Silent Quadrant provides comprehensive managed IT services, effective cybersecurity, and integrated managed governance. With over 30 years of excellence, they ensure your business operates securely and efficiently. Silent Quadrant merges IT management with robust cybersecurity tailored to your needs. Most of their clients have been with them for over 26 years, a testament to their trustworthiness, and they've also received the Inc. Power Partner Award for the past 2 years. You can experience similar peace of mind with Silent Quadrant's trusted services. Visit them on the web at silentquadrant.com and tell them that Acquisitions Anonymous sent you. Silent Quadrant, compromise nothing.
All right. Welcome to Acquisitions Anonymous. We have a guest with us this week. Thank you for being here, Chelsea.
Thank you for inviting me.
All right. So we've got, in addition to the normal crew, this is this fun episode of Acquisitions Anonymous. We have myself and Heather and Mills, but we also have Chelsea Wood from Acquisition Lab with us here today as a guest deal reviewer. So Chelsea, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
No pressure.
And Acquisition Lab just before we get started?
Yeah, so I'm the co-founder of Acquisition Lab with Walker Deibel, author of Buy Then Build, and we run an accelerator for folks buying businesses. So we work with buyers that are highly vetted and highly qualified to buy businesses, and we basically just hold their hand, right, as they do that. We help them figure out who they are and what they need to be buying, and then we have a team of 11 advisors that support them through the transaction.
Oh, so you're going to be smarter than the three of us anyway. We'll just let you talk today.
I mean, any lab member will tell you I absolutely nerd out on deals. And so when I had the opportunity to come on, I was like, yes, please.
Awesome.
Sign me up.
This will be great. This will be great. We're glad you're here. All right. So as we typically do in Acquisition Anonymous fashion, Chelsea has not seen this deal before the recording. And in fairness, neither have I or Heather or Mills. So all the reactions you're getting today are fresh and unvarnished. So Mills did find a super cool deal today that's pretty entertaining and comes with a video. So tune in on YouTube for the rest of this episode. So Mills, take it away. Tell us what you got today.
This one was incredible. We were scanning this like 30 seconds before we hit record, and we're like, okay, niche SaaS marketing agency sounds good. Niche B2B, data platform. And then we were like, oh my gosh, this thing. And then Bill found that there's a video. So we're really excited about it. This is on acquire.com. It's a SaaS startup located in Delaware. And it's an interactive wellness platform with 3,000 plus videos serving K through 12, seniors over 65, and group fitness markets. The asking price is $1.2 million, which is 8.1 times profit or 2 times revenue. And they get right into it. They say, we feel $1.2 million is a fair asking price for our track record, global brand recognition, and brand new tech investment. We have 3 marketing channels that have massive room for growth: education K through 12, healthy aging, senior wellness, and B2C instructor certifications. So the business over the last 12 months has had $588,000 trailing 12-month revenue. Trailing 12-month profit is $149,000. Last month they did 27, so that would mean their run rate, is lagging a little bit, and last month's profit was 9,000. So maybe some seasonality or something like that. So it says the description on this company overview is this tool delivers engaging, easy to use video content aimed at enhancing physical activity and good mental health in 2 specific markets. We know that education and healthy aging. They've been delivering video content to schools in the US and Canada for over a decade, and in the senior market since 2021. They recently invested in a new online platform to incorporate all the features our customers have asked for the last 10 plus years. They have their own app with a free trial, playlist sharing, activity trackers, filters, hierarchy accounts, full reporting. So we still don't really know what they do until we get a little bit further in. So they have an instructor certification. It seems like they're doing some community building, but the brand, which they tell us here, is DrumFIT. So they, I guess, have 3 brands. K through 12 is Hey Kanga. Healthy aging is under DrumFIT Classics. And then the instructor certifications are DrumFIT Beat. Business has been around since 2014. They have between 2 and 20 employees or folks on the team. And we can get into a little bit more of these details and some of their tech stack and stuff like that later. But this is kind of hard to picture. And so Bill did a little bit of sleuthing because this is publicly available information. And in case you can't imagine what this is, tune into YouTube because we're pulling up a video that is going to blow your mind.
So I will describe it briefly for the people who are audio only. What we basically have is a bunch of those exercise balls that are, like 2 feet in diameter, like they're bouncy, like blue or green. And you've got it sitting on top of a bucket. And then it is an exercise class whereby you drum on the ball to the beat and work up a sweat. So I'm going to show this right now. So you guys get the idea.
I think it's got to be upper body only, right? I mean, maybe some core, or they're running in place, so maybe a little bit of lower body.
Yeah.
Too. But they're not kicking the ball, This is just a giant exercise ball in a bucket, and you're drumming on it.
Yeah, it's the fad, I guess. I don't know.
They do say on their website, the world's leading cardio drumming program, which is a niche. I will give them credit. That is a niche, and they could very well be the largest.
Yeah.
Wait. That video has them doing a lot more than arms.
Yeah, there was some foot activity going on in that.
So, I think this says been around since 2015. So I apologize for calling them a fad. I think what you've got here is, they say it like it's good for kids. It's good for elderly folks who are trying to keep their mobility up. I think the drumming is as much to make it fun and interesting while you move your body. So I think this is something you would do in like a classroom setting. They're typically set up in like gyms or yoga studios. And they got people moving around. Even I saw some people sitting on the ball, drumming on the ball. Everybody's got 2 drumsticks. It seems like they made it fun. I wonder do we think they've invented this? Do you think cardio drumming is their thing? Or do you think they're kind of just the biggest one in it?
I think they invented it. I've never seen this before. And it just looks like they found some cool equipment around the gym and somebody made up a routine and then built a business out of it. That's my guess.
I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
So DrumFIT Beat, which is they certify instructors to teach these classes. They have DrumFIT Classics, which I think means that they are making videos about this. I guess you can do at home or play in your old folks' home or, kind of stand in for an instructor. This is a digital business model and a certifier business model. As far as I can tell, there's no inventory. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I don't think they sell. I think it's like, hey, you become an instructor, or like, let's say I'm really enterprising and I go to the school district and say, you guys, I have this great thing we need to start doing in the elementary school, and the kids are going to love it. Here's the data, and we're going to buy a bunch of exercise balls and buckets, and I'll bring the drumsticks. Like, I don't think there's any. I don't think there's any actual like branded product. You know, it's not like a specific exercise product. I think they're cobbling it together is what it looks like.
Yeah. So if we keep reading the listing, it says this tool delivers engaging, easy to use content aimed at enhancing physical activity and good mental health in 2 markets, K through 12 and senior aging. We've been delivering video content to the schools for over a decade and to a senior market since 2021. And we recently built the new platform. It says that they sell cardio drumming equipment to those markets in addition to the SaaS platform of the video subscriptions. We have eliminated the need for costly warehouses and 3PL and now have direct relationships with our manufacturer to drop ship directly to our customers and still maintain a 52% net profit margin. This opens the door for global expansion. And they say they have the certification program. All right, let me throw it over to Chelsea here. Chelsea, what's your take on this thing? Do you like it?
So I'm intrigued by these types of businesses, just right, like it's tied to a eternally profitable type of a space, right? Fitness, there's always going to be people wanting to be healthy, live healthy lifestyles. We'll say that instead of dieting and stuff like that. But where my brain went, which is why I'm fascinated by this, is that it appears to be low impact.
Yes.
And there's markets, right, that need low impact. And it's always a struggle trying to kind of figure out. And that's why they're niching to the senior market. But I could also see this playing in physical therapy, in rehabilitation. And so I do think that there's a business here, obviously, right? I was originally wondering if they were certifying coaches. I keep thinking of Zumba, and I'm going to date myself horribly by thinking about Zumba. But I can't help but think about Zumba, right? Like, how long will it be around? I'm not entirely sure. Right. But like Zumba, I'm pretty sure is still around. And I think I went to Zumba classes 20 years ago. So it seems to be doing fine. Right. And so the fact that they're certifying was where my mind went automatically, just wondering if they were. And so I have to wonder if, Go Noodle, like that's huge in our school district. Like my kids, that got us through COVID, man. And so I do actually like the business model. I have more questions, which I always have when I'm looking at a listing, but like innately, I like the deal, right?
Yeah.
The multiple doesn't seem bad for a SaaS product. The fact that it has a recurring revenue model, I like that. I like that it's more of a B2C. I mean, a B2B, right? Because it's serving schools and potentially elder communities. That's not a good word. I shouldn't use that word. Aging
healthy
population.
Healthy aging.
That's what they call it, healthy aging.
So I don't hate it, right? I don't personally love the size of it, right? But our members that are acquiring SaaS of this size, right? Because they can't afford to acquire a larger SaaS that's putting off the kind of money they want. So they buy a company like this and then they scale it so that they can exit at the larger SaaS multiples. So I mean, I like it at first glance. I have a gazillion questions on whether I'd buy it, but I like the listing.
What do you guys make of this? We have never had a strong marketing department or a big enough sales team. Some with these resources will go a long way to reaching a wider customer base. They also mention a couple other things they seem to think you should do immediately. And they kind of frame it as these are very expensive things, but then they list the cost and it's not. So the 2 things they think you should do is invest in a learning management system integration, which would allow them to tap into the large virtual school market in the United States, who need to offer a good online PE program to offer to their students. They say that they can charge a per student seat price for these schools, and some of these schools range in size from 1,000 to 30,000. 18 states have already started statewide virtual schools. The estimated cost for this integration is only $7,000. And then the next thing is a lesson plan feature. They want to finish the lesson plan integration with their Hey Kanga app, which makes the online PE class model very appealing to Canadian European schools who do not have specialized PE teachers leading the subject. The feature has already been fully developed in UI, UX, lesson plans, learning outcomes, and progression charts, and all of this is produced. The remaining app development needed for this feature has been estimated at $10,000. So what I'm sensing here is like these guys say like, look, we're bad at marketing. You'll be better at marketing. We haven't built the $17,000 worth of stuff. All you need to do is spend $17,000 and instantly you will be in all of these new markets. I feel like this is a story I've heard before.
I was going to say, I feel like I've seen this before time and time again.
And what do you make of it? I mean, like, do you buy it?
I think it depends, obviously, right? I'm a consultant at heart. So like, it depends on the buyer and whether or not the buyer is strong at have they done B2C sales? Like we get a lot of SaaS sales folks, right? Who have kind of built their career doing sales and SaaS. Maybe they have connections. Maybe they sold an education SaaS and they have a huge connection, a huge network of education folks that would buy it. That could be a good fit for them, right? Mm-hmm. I think this is obviously a business listed by the sellers, right? And so I love sellers. I'm a business owner. Like we all think that everything's, super wonderful and we all want, 20x for our businesses. So do I think it's as simple as they're saying? Obviously not. Like it seems like they're probably declining. They're struggling. Is sales the problem? It's a SaaS product, or is there a bigger problem, right? And so somebody with some kind of SaaS knowledge is going to need to dig into this deeper to make sure that you're not buying falling knives because it is a SaaS product. And so this is why I don't know that people that don't have SaaS backgrounds should go out and buy SaaS products and rely on other people to tell them if it's a great resource. And if it breaks, be like, what do I do now?
I think the biggest thing here, like the two things that come to mind for me are distribution and IP. Like on the distribution side, you nailed it, Chelsea. Like if somebody has an in with somebody who already has a distribution model into, early childhood PE, this is like a slam dunk because you go, oh, we already have, the emails or the eyeballs or the subscription, of this huge installed base that maybe, I don't know, is buying PE equipment or is already subscribing to some other content or something like that. And you could just, plug this in and expand the offering. My concern on the IP side is I don't know that this is really protectable. The name maybe, but you can't say it's patented, ball on on a base. And so is there like a first mover advantage and protection to this, or could somebody very easily, come in and the brand it's not CrossFit, right? It's not like people try and rip off CrossFit, but the name really means something because this just isn't that developed.
Yeah. I would worry about, is it a fad? I mean, it is a fad. They've been saying they've been doing it since 2014, but anytime you see a business like this that is declining, you do start to wonder if it's ever coming back or if people are just kind of over cardio drumming. But I think you're right, Mills. Like, can they build a library of content that actually creates a moat that is valuable and protectable? And then can they also sell it in? I mean, that's the other thing about schools as an end market. It takes forever. Like their buying cycles can be so long if you have to go through the schools. I know there are other businesses that sell to teachers, and sometimes like a teacher can buy a thing for $12 and have it in her PE class tomorrow. But it doesn't seem like that's the way they're going to market. They're trying to, I also don't know their business model when they go to schools. Are they trying to charge just for the video subscription? Are they trying to just sell them the equipment? I'd be interested in sort of where this revenue really comes from.
So one interesting thing I'm kind of thinking back to is when you say fad, I'm thinking like there's Jump Rope for Heart. Do you guys remember that?
Yes.
And it was like, hey, let's, they come in and say, we'll help you raise money, and it'll be exercise kind of centric. There was Jump Rope for Heart. There was Dance Marathon, I think was another one where it's just like, hey, we'll go in the gym and have like a 2-hour long dance thing and we'll raise money for it. There's a really big company in the Southeast. I don't know how far they've grown now, but called Booster or Boosterthon. And they come in and they have a massive, massive sales team that like kind of overwhelms these schools with support, and they help them raise money. But the like mechanism is students go and raise money for like every lap they run, on around like a set track, and it raises money for the schools versus like selling, Sally Foster wrapping paper and popcorn and stuff. So just off the top of my head, I can think of 3 or 4. And so I think this could be kind of fad driven. And again, that's not that's not bad per se if you're early and you could ride the wave.
Well, what you just raised there, though, so I'm on the board for my son's school, and we struggle really hard with funding and fundraising and doing something that's active. And one of the pushbacks on one of the fundraising companies that we chose was that they took so much of the profits, right? But they organized everything for you, but it wasn't active. It was what you kind of said, right? They run around, you pay per lap, and like, woohoo, we raise a lot of money. And so is there a way to position this differently? Also, is there a way, they don't really talk about how they have all this content, but like, they're not making that much money. God love them. They've been around a long time. And the reason they can't grow is because they're not making very much earnings, right?
Yep.
And so is there a way to take all of this IP? They said they have so many videos, right? Like it was
3,000
a certain amount of videos.
Yeah, 3,000.
And like, can you actually, not that I want to get rid of the SaaS, but could you complement it by creating a content company, a YouTube channel, a subscription base? Because like, to your point, I've got an exercise ball and I got a bucket, man. Like I could do this in my house and drum like crazy. And so like, are there other revenue streams, right? That somebody that doesn't need a lot of money from a business
We're not PG.
acquisition. See, it's hard. It's hard for me to filter myself. But they don't need a lot of money. Like this could be a great business for the right buyer, right? It could be a horrible business for the wrong buyer.
What do you guys think?
Oh, and the other thing
Go ahead.
that I keep thinking about is I love that it's playing in the school market, because I think there are some creative things you can do there. I love that it's playing in the aging one, because there's a lot that you can do there, partnering with ALFs and residential facilities and coming in and doing their programming. And so we also get a lot of members that have real estate backgrounds and ALF SNFs, assisted living. Sorry, I come from healthcare. Assisted living facilities and skilled nursing facilities have programming, right, where people will come in and do things. And this is a low impact situation where that could work. The other place I think that they're not touching that could be really fascinating is rehab facilities, right? So like I went through a massive rehabbing, not, due to substance abuse, but I broke my back when I was a kid. And so I had to go for like 3 weeks and live in this residential facility where I could learn all my things again. And so like this would be a great thing to do to get people that are rehabbing back in shape, because it is low impact and that can be really hard. And so I think it's fatty? Possibly. Do I think it could potentially not be if they partnered with like a PT company and pitched it more as low impact rehabilitation, or they pitched it with, so I like the business, but I think to grow it starts to feel a little startup-y to me. And so you have to, when you're buying a company like that recognize that you're not necessarily doing the buy then build approach, right? You're kind of buying a company to potentially do some spin-off startups, and there's risk there. But if you have the right skill set, it could totally work.
So when I look at this, they've called it a SaaS startup. We've kind of talked about it as far as SaaS, but the more I think about it, I think that misunderstands the business. I don't think this is a SaaS business at all. I think this is a business that needs some software in order to deliver its product. This is a cardio drumming business. The entire success of this business is based on whether you can sell the concept of cardio drumming into all the places you just mentioned, Chelsea, and to convince them to give you money in some way. I also suspect that if you the more I think about it, you pull the curtains back on this business, you will find they have built a ton of custom software that they never needed to build at all.
Yeah. Do you need your own app for this?
I don't know.
Yeah.
And like there are tons of learning management if you want to launch your own course, like there's tons of platforms that you can gate access to videos.
Yeah.
Right. On the internet. Like I bet there is some seriously 95% good enough off the shelf software. I wonder how much cost and ongoing pain in the butt you could take out of this business by deep sixing all the custom software, moving everything to becoming a customer of some other online course.
Like Gumroad or something like that.
Yes, some other online course, Podia. There's a ton of Kijiji. There's a ton of these. And more that are probably even more custom for, I bet there's one for fitness people who want to do exercise videos and sell access to
totally
those.
Is.
That's what this is. So like you would find one of those. You don't have to continually write the $17,000 checks they're talking about writing here. and then go out and freaking sell this stuff, to Chelsea's point, to old folks' homes and rehab facilities and schools. And you sell them, figure out like it's a monthly subscription, and we're going to sell you 30 of the ball and bucket things. And like, that's our pitch. And this is a sales job. Like, here we go.
Yep. And rec centers, like communities have rec centers that also offer classes. Right. And so it's like, I think to your point, everybody wants to own a SaaS company because of the SaaS valuations. And they're just trying to sell this at a SaaS multiple, because realistically you would pay 200. I would probably, the earnings were 150, right?
Yeah. 150.
So like, I'd say on like a good day, 150 times 3,
450.
Yeah.
450.
Yeah. I think the right price for this business is $400,000 to $500,000.
100% agreed. 100% agreed.
Yeah.
But for that, it like, I'll pay that all day long, because I have a vision for this, and I think I could pull off growing this as a human, right? So it's like, it's wrongly categorized because it's listed by the owner. And honestly, I've seen brokers misclassify.
I mean, nice try, right?
I'm not faulting them, right? Like,
nice try.
You miss 100% of the drum beats that you don't take, right? So I don't blame them. But yeah, I think it's misclassified, to your point, for sure.
It's also got this thing here at the top, which it reeks of listed by owner, but I call this the business is worth sort of what's left, the balance on my mortgage. We feel 1.2 million is a fair price because of our track record, our global brand recognition, and our brand new tech investment, none of which are hard business metrics at all.
Yeah.
Right? Like, at all. Like
track record should be free cash flow.
So yeah, let me rewrite the sentence. We feel $1.2 million is a fair price for our demonstrated long history of no growth, our untrademarkable cardio drumming thing, and our sunk cost tech investment.
But how many listings have you seen by owner that's not a 10x or more?
No, I mean,
like literally,
I don't know.
they're almost always a 10x.
Some owners get realistic.
But is that their own doing, or have they had a conversation with an accountant or somebody that says like, hey, by the way, don't ask for 10x. No one's going to do that.
Well, I think that there's always that dynamic. You said, I mean, we all three own businesses, right? Nobody can convince me that my baby is ugly. And so, but sometimes, right, people have to go out there and get disappointed. And I've had tons of conversations with sellers where I'm like, I mean, maybe somebody will come pay that price and those terms, but more than likely you have to go and just be perpetually disappointed that people see the world and your business differently than you do. On acquire.com, they usually have, and we had Andrew Gazdecki on, and I don't even know if that episode's been released yet, but we were asking him about, usually at the top of these listings, Chelsea, and I don't know if you look at their deals from time to time, but they like, we've been like, wow, they all seem really hot. And maybe those are just the ones we're attracted to, but it'll be like 76 people, or like things are getting interesting. 76 people are interested in this. And so we were asking Andrew, like, is that just people who've opened the link? It's more than that, but this one doesn't have it, which makes me think, has it been up for a while? Are they kind of in that, we got to get used to, what the market will actually pay phase?
Yeah, and it's the biggest deal killer, in my opinion, of owner-represented deals, is just this massive valuation gap. And like, I get the psychology. They've been at this thing since 2014, and they need $1.2 million to retire, which it says retirement is the reason for selling. And so it has to be worth $1.2 million to them, right?
Correct.
Because they've been at it for a decade. But that doesn't mean that that's where the market clears. So a lot of times I don't even, like, with a gap like this, it's almost not even worth spending your time.
They want 2.5 times what you guys are saying feels like a reasonable price.
Oh, exactly. They want to, I think it's funny because like in this scenario, and I'm a big believer in every deal is a good deal as long as the structure's right. Like if they need to retire and I have a clear path of growth, I see this as a service business more than anything. I can grow service businesses. I have a service background. Like if I believe in myself enough, then I'll buy this for this amount, which is no more than $500,000. Maybe I let you keep equity. So you get the benefit of, the returns that I'm going to grow that maybe will get you to what you're asking for to retire on. But like, there's no way I'm giving you that amount right now. It's just, it can't happen. The math doesn't math. I tell our lab members all the time, it's math and logic, guys. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If it doesn't math, you have to walk away, right?
The thing that's tough here too is it's got 150K of TTM profit, and I would bet money that's actually SDE. So that's why they can't make a $17,000 investment to integrate their software with a learning management system.
They have no money
because they have just enough. And if I go to the team page here, they have a team page on their website, and they're very nice people. But there's like 3 or 4 people.
They are lovely.
Exactly. So there's just not a lot of oxygen here. I can't find it, but on their website, I think it's on the homepage. Yeah. So they got a founder, they got a director of ops, director of programming, they got a creative director, and then they got some consultant.
Everybody's a director.
It's not a big team.
Yeah, welcome to Small Business America.
$150,000 SDE is not a lot to go around. They have to. I would guess the story of this business is they fell in love with or invented cardio drumming early and have kind of evangelized it for a while. And probably sadly over the last 10 years have kind of fallen into that founder trap where instead of just selling, they probably have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on this app and the software platform and developers and all of this stuff, when really they just need to be selling. And so what you end up with is after 10 years, a business with a lot of sunk cost that is smaller than the founders wish it was. And it leads you to a valuation gap because they feel all the sunk cost and you don't ascribe any value to it. And all the buyer ascribes value to is SDE and revenue. And so I just found it's very hard to get these deals done because you just can't get the seller to not just the ugly baby syndrome mills, but just 10 years and, hundreds of thousands of dollars in this. They're like, but look at this technology. And you're like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I think somebody who is space adjacent to this, would probably be the best buyer. Maybe they don't have their own content, but maybe they're already one of a business that I am always going to feel like got away. I looked at this really interesting dietitian business, and they had it was 25 dietitians on staff, and they would go to the assisted living facilities and the skilled nursing care facilities, and they had to build, and it wasn't recreate the wheel every single time, but they had to build low sodium diet menus. They had to build heart healthy, meal plans and give them to the kitchen, but they had to provide the nutritional info. It was becoming a more and more regulated thing for insurance reimbursement. And they were really enmeshed. Really enmeshed into and now a lot of those are owned by multi-unit operators or REITs. And so if you're already in the door and you're like, hey, by the way, we're kind of doing this, we also want to offer this thing that's just a little bit adjacent. This would be a very easy, I say it's not that easy. It'd be a lot easier than me buying it, who's I don't know anyone in this space, and I would be recreating the wheel, so to speak.
And the other thing I don't love about it is that it depends on, we all have balls, and buckets, right? And so I don't love the scalability of a fitness product that requires product, if that makes sense, right? Even having a content site is challenging if people have to buy a drum and a bucket from you, right? And so I don't love that.
That's the nice thing about Zumba is you don't need anything to do
exactly
it, right? You just certify an instructor, everybody shows up in the studio, and here we go, we're doing Zumba.
Exactly. And so I don't love that alone. It probably turns me off of the deal because it does limit the capabilities of pivoting into anything other than selling to SNFs and ALFs and schools.
I think the ones who have done that well, though, is TRX bands, but it's small. And so you can wrap it up and put it in the closet or under your bed. If you're trying to market this B2C, hey, subscribe for $15 a month and you can do this workout at home. You got to keep the exercise ball somewhere. It's not easily stowable.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Maybe some places already have exercise balls.
Yeah.
Maybe some of these same types of places have a fleet of 10 of these things, and then you just sell them the base. I saw on the website, you can either put it in a bucket or there's a circle base that you can put it in. So maybe, but then you're limiting your TAM. You can only sell into people who already have
Correct.
10 plus exercise balls. I mean, it can be a fine business. I think it's got to be bigger. They've got to make it bigger. Maybe you could get it to $500,000 of SDE or $1 million of SDE in your niche. In which case, if you're one person that owns it, you don't have a lot of debt on it. Like, not a bad lifestyle business, and you're the cardio drumming guy or gal. But you got to really want to be that person.
Yeah, this is not a deal I would finance in a million years.
Chelsea, you
way.
talk to a ton of buyers who are looking at stuff like this. My mind goes to, if you're buying a business like this, and I would guess a lot of the people that you guys work with, they're thinking about exit, right? Like you've got to kind of look ahead and go, okay, in 3 to 5 to 7 years, who is my buyer? When I'm turning the tables and becoming the seller. This to me seems like one of those that's kind of like, who's it? Like, let's say you get to $1 million in SDE. Who is buying this?
Well, the good news is it doesn't require a skilled background. Mm-hmm. Like anybody could buy it. It's hitting a ball with a stick, right? And so I actually like that it doesn't require like a niche certification or any kind of educational background. I like that it plays in the school space because I think like the company that we did that fundraiser with, I mean, we raised $50,000 through this fundraiser and they kept a big portion of it. It sold and they have a new owner. And so it's a parent in the district bought the company. Right. And so I think that I wouldn't worry so much about the exit if it's big enough. I don't think it's big enough any lab member to look at it. Right. Because typically they need more money than this is putting off to keep their lights on. And so it's not big enough. I think it would be a fun, like, I don't want to say that way. I think it would be an interesting kind of, entree point into this space. I don't know. I was going to go the side hustle route, but I wouldn't recommend anyone buy it and try it as a side hustle either. I think it needs more attention than that.
Yeah.
But I do like it. I think it's interesting. But I'm intrigued by business. Like I would like to go see if I could make it work because that's who I am as a human. But I certainly wouldn't finance it. We run into that a lot. I'll have conversations with people, both lab members and not, where I'm like, not every deal should be financed. Some deals should be seller financed because the risks inherent in the business. Yeah. And some deals are okay to do all cash, right? Like, and so I don't know. I don't hate the deal, to be honest. I think they did a great job with the brand. I think that I've never heard of it. So I feel like they could do, like they said, right? Sales and marketing, which is great. That's a big need in a lot of businesses in the space. So people with sales and marketing experience, specifically sales and building out sales teams, like you can have the luxury of being fairly industry agnostic if you could do that, because so many small businesses have never had a sales team.
Yeah. All right. So we think it's worth $400 to $500K roughly.
Yeah.
Maybe 400 plus an earn out, something like that.
Yep.
So interesting, but probably not 1.2 mil.
Yeah.
Not so much.
I think even for if the stars align and the perfect buyer comes along, they're not paying that. The other just quick anecdotal story I have a friend here in South Carolina who is a board certified PE teacher. He's got his master's, undergrad, and he's board certified, and he's an elementary school PE teacher. And he started a side hustle, creating content, lesson plans, and selling them on a subscription to other PE teachers. And it's an amazing business. Like it allowed his wife, to not have to work and all these kind of things. And even that, right? He would be a perfect buyer for something like this because he's already got a whole network of hundreds of elementary school PE teachers who could just immediately plug this in. But like even that kind of scenario, I don't think you pay up, because it's like, we talk about this a lot. You want me to pay for the opportunity cost that I'm bringing, not the opportunity costs that currently exist within the ecosystem of your business.
Well, and all we saw was trailing 12 months. Mm-hmm. Like if we look at the financials and there's not historical performance, then it's even lower than what we said. Right? If they're selling at a high point, like a lot of business owners do, it's not even worth what we said.
Yeah. Good point.
Now with that buyer as the perfect buyer, I would maybe support financing it if he has a clear plan, maybe, but not at the asking price that they're asking.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we've kind of figured out where we land on this one.
We beat that drum enough.
Yeah, we beat the drum. We beat the exercise ball plenty on this one. With that, if you guys enjoyed this episode and are interested in buying a business, please check out Chelsea and Acquisition Lab. Chelsea, how can people find you guys on the internet?
Go to acquisitionlab.com and explore. If you're interested in applying, click apply, fill out an application, and jump on a call with us.
Awesome. If we've known Chelsea for a little while, and Acquisition Lab and Walker, her co-founder, and they really do good work, and they have done it themselves, not just gurus.
Yes.
Telling you how to do something they haven't done, but they have bought, acquired, and exited businesses themselves, and literally written the book on it.
Literally.
Walker's book, Buy Then Build, is a great read. So if you enjoyed this episode, of course, go find Chelsea and Acquisition Lab. You can also find us online at our new website, acquuanon.com. The new thing is that all of our episodes are indexed by industry, and there's a search. So you can go search over 300 episodes of Acquisitions Anonymous on our website for the industry that you are interested in, and hear our takes on your industry. This is something listeners have been asking for a really long time, and Gustavo and crew just launched it earlier this week. So go check it out.
It's amazing.
acquuanon.com, and then you can go to the episodes library on there. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.